And with that, I've been doing a lot of talking. I want to introduce Kristi Schulenberg of the National Alliance to End Homelessness to say a few words. My Dog is My Home has tremendous respect for the Alliance because we fully acknowledge that our goal of keeping people and animals together in circumstances of homelessness sits within a larger vision to prevent and end homelessness. So with that, I will hand things over to Kristi Schulenberg, the Director of the Center for Capacity Building at the Alliance. Thank you, Kristi.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you for the introduction. I'd like to add my voice and that of the National Alliance to End Homelessness to Carol's and welcome you to this important conference. Thank you all for being here. This second annual co-sheltering conference is testament to the success of last year's inaugural conference, as well as the need to gather together to ensure that communities across the country advocate for and employ best practices in low barrier animal policies in homeless emergency shelter and permanent housing. The National Alliance is committed to advocating for low barrier animal policies. Through our policy department and in collaboration with the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, we support advocacy efforts aimed at the Department of Housing and Urban Development for pet accommodations and shelter and pet inclusive housing. In addition, through training and technical assistance, often in collaboration with My Dog is My Home, we promote the adoption of best practices for emergency shelter, including the adoption of housing first and immediate and low barrier access to emergency shelter. I likely don't need to tell the audience gathered for this conference that the human-animal bond is so strong that many people experiencing homelessness will not live separated from their animal. By not adopting low barrier animal policies, communities miss an opportunity to leverage this bond into engagement that can result in much needed services and housing for both. There's a great deal that homeless response systems can do to support keeping people and pets together, including capturing data on the need. For example, how many people experiencing unsheltered homelessness have an animal? As part of homeless funding and funding competitions, funders should give points to those providers who adopt and operationalize housing first, low barrier animal policies. Homeless providers also can adopt a housing first, low barrier animal policy approach.
I'm on a conference.
Whether by ensuring immediate access to emergency shelter with a pet through co-sheltering in place or incentivizing landlords to accept pets into permanent housing. However, the homeless system and its network of providers cannot and should not do this work alone or unsupported. As the pandemic has taught all of us, partnerships are key in serving the most vulnerable among us. Homeless response systems should not become animal welfare organizations and try to recreate the expertise, services, and solutions offered by this other invaluable system. Instead, communities should build relationships and formalize partnerships, resulting in fewer instances of separating someone from their animal, such as mandatory surrender of an animal in order to access service and housing. You have an amazing 3 days ahead of you, full of substantive content, incredible presenters, and the opportunity to network and learn from each other. I will not keep you from it any longer. Thank you again, Carol, and thank you to the staff and board of My Dog is My Home. The Alliance is proud to work in partnership with this incredible organization and the diverse network gathered here. You make our work better. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristi, for all that you do and for the Alliance's recognition and support of My Dog is My Home's mission. If you haven't seen it yet, the Alliance is Keeping People and Pets Together toolkit. Please check it out. It is just so amazing. The link to the toolkit is in the chat.